was on 49 platinums and needed number 50 to be special. So I asked the community, and the clear favourite here was Sleeping Dogs. Now, according to PSNP, it's just a 3 out of 10 in difficulty and a 30-hour platinum. Turns out, neither of these were accurate for what I encountered. I had moments of real difficulty and considered quitting the platinum entirely at some stages, but much more on this later. A grand total of 51 trophies to be earned in Sleeping Dogs. 41 bronze, 7 silver, 2 gold, and trophy 51, the platinum. Now, just before we get started, today you're going to see and hear my entire platinum experience. That will include the full story and all of its spoilers. So here we go. Sleeping Dogs tells the story of Wei Shen, an undercover cop who infiltrates a savage Hong Kong triad known as the Sun On Yi. Along the way, you will encounter dangerous rivals like the 18K triad, insane martial arts combat, and a deep and memorable story which will have you gripped from the moment you start it. We start in a drugs bust where Wei is caught and arrested by Hong Kong police. But this works out for Wei, as in his cell he meets up with old childhood friend and Sun On Yi hopeful Jackie Ma. Jackie has no idea of who or what Wei has become of himself these days. Jackie is released the following day and promises to meet up with Wei upon his release. This is where we meet Head of Operations Pendrew and overseeing officer Raymond. They get Wei released, ready to meet Jackie. Wei is then taken to meet Sun On Yi senior Red Pole leader Winston. This is our way in. Winston is having issues with Dog Eyes, another Sun On Yi Red Pole who is currently invading his side of town for business. We are tasked by Winston to beat down Ming, a rogue drug dealer who has switched allegiances recently to Dog Eyes. During this mission, we pop our first trophy for using the environment to our advantage in combat 5 times. And my god, the combat in this game is amazing. We finally run down and beat down Ming, but unfortunately, Wei in his approach has been sloppy again. He gets caught by Hong Kong police. It's safe to say, Head of Operations Pendrew is less than impressed with our start in Hong Kong, but upon completing this mission, we get our first story-related trophy, in with the gang. Wei is again released and sent straight back into Sun On Yi action, as we go for a disco beatdown at a nightclub. While in combat, we earn the Strike Gold trophy. This is our first gold stat award. These are earned in combat or in the open world. After having spent some time with the triad, we decide to go and do some cop work, completing our first of 4 cop cases for Officer Teng, followed by our first silver stat trophy while working with Pendrew, and then jumping back to the Sun On Yi. Winston learns of an attack on his mother's restaurant. It turns out it didn't come from rival triad the 18K, it came from a Sun On Yi. This was the act of Dog Eyes. So Wei is sent in as the equalizer, shooting heads and dragging Dog Eyes' body out from a burning warehouse. A huge explosion allows him to escape momentarily, but Officer Wei goes full on Mission Impossible, jumping from bike to car for the Stuntman trophy. We then deliver him back to Winston and his crew, earning their full respect. This then gets us our second story trophy.
And you, young man, must be Wei.
This is Head of the Triad, Uncle Po. He hears of the inner Sun On Yi rivalries. Following the warehouse explosion, he now wants it finished with. He sees potential in Wei, and we leave unharmed. Winston, however, not so lucky. He leaves with a few broken ribs. Officer Raymond sees Wei favouring the Sun On Yi over his cop duties, so he advises Wei of the pending arrests on Jackie and Winston. Conflicting emotions here at this point for Wei, as he demands against this. Now having full triad trust, Winston's mother, Mrs. Chu, sends us on duty with her soon-to-be daughter-in-law to collect some final wedding day items. This is followed by a huge wedding celebration, or so we thought, as this wedding turns to a massacre, with rival triad the 18K showing up to rip apart the Sun On Yi. Turns out Winston's continued rival Dog Eyes tipped them off on the location. We manage to fight through and shoot our way past. Wei gets through the massacre, but Winston and his wife do not. This had me incredibly disappointed and upset.
Peggy, out of here. She doesn't deserve this.
Wei has no choice but to leave and make an escape by shooting some heads in the rage from his lost brother. We get outside but find a bleeding out Uncle Po. Thankfully we manage to scramble him out of danger and straight in to hospital care. That was pretty damn intense and heartbreaking, so we're going to move away from the story while Uncle Po recovers in hospital and do some open world trophies and shenanigans. We win some races and complete other open world events, giving us 10% overall completion of these for the rookie trophy Another trophy for having picked a lock, planted a bug, traced the phone, hacked a safe and hacked a spy camera, and we naturally explore and visit all towns of Hong Kong for yet another trophy. Once we completed these, I jumped back into the story, finished off a few more missions that I needed to, and got myself some more gold stats for the Gold Rush trophy.
Shut up, both of you! Winston's gone.
We head back to the crew. Winston is dead, Uncle Po is barely alive, and the crew are clearly freaking out. Big Smile Lee, a fellow Sun On Yee Red Pole, sends in one of his henchmen known as Ponytail. He advises Wei that Smile Lee will be stepping into Winston's turf and now running things following his death. This doesn't go down very well with Wei. Feeling the death of his friend heavily on his heart, he makes an unexpected stand against Smile Lee and Ponytail. We run Ponytail and Smile Lee's goons away with a devastating shootout in the nightclub, followed by a road rage explosion party while chasing down Ponytail. Fortunately for Ponytail, he survives this bloody encounter. After a real beatdown from Wei, he gets an opening and finds a way to escape.
Fuck you, Wei.
Wei, now suffering with a headache, is intercepted by another Sun On Yee Red Pole, Lady Zhang. She doesn't see eye to eye with Big Smile Lee either, and offers her full support on the current proceedings. She too sees herself as a replacement for Uncle Po in the future, to bring a new, improved regime to the Sun On Yee, which Wei seems to trust over that of Smile Lee's. Wei is not over the death of Winston, so heads over to see Mrs. Chu to offer condolences. She wants none. She wants the head of Dog Eyes. So we head on out with vengeance on our mind, killing some goons and actually getting one kill with a frozen fish for our latest trophy. Eventually, we bring back a battered and bloody Dog Eyes, much to my pleasure, and hand him over to Mrs. Chu. It's her turn to have her way with her son's killer. Following that butchering, I need some retail therapy, changing all of Wei's clothes and getting the fashion statement trophy, and now for some cockfighting to refill our pockets. Another trophy for winning a bet on our first cockfight, and now it's time to head back to Uncle Po.
See to it that Wei is formally initiated. He's been a loyal foot soldier to the Sun On Yee.
Wei is now a Red Pole, but the Triad need a temporary leader until Uncle Po makes a full recovery. Big Smile Lee tries to force himself into power, but Lady Zhang, knowing he would cause absolute mayhem, steps in to prevent this. She knows she is unlikely to be voted in herself currently, so she advises Uncle Po to pick blood nephew, Tu Chin. Uncle Po agrees, for now his crackhead cousin, Tu Chin, will lead the Triad. How inspiring. And so we continue our work for the Triad. With our best friend Jackie, we carry out a dockyard heist, and as already advised to Wei earlier in the story, arrests within the Triad will be made. This leads to Jackie being arrested, and Wei feels incredibly guilty in the role he played. This earns the third story related trophy. But Wei has no time to think of the betrayal, as he hears rival Triad, the 18K, have arrived at the hospital to finish off Uncle Po. We shoot and fight our way through the hospital in one of the most immense missions I have ever played in any video game. This felt like a blockbuster movie scene directly from Die Hard, or maybe from the Fast and Furious franchise. Not even a busted elevator, electrical malfunction, or a downpouring of water sprinklers could stop Wei from saving Uncle Po here. We managed to fight off the 18K alongside Sun On Yee Ricky, who'd been visiting Uncle Po at the time of the attack. It is now time for us to lay low for a while, as we await the release of Jackie after our request to an angered Officer Pendrew. But this is where we smash out a whole heap of gameplay trophies. We complete a 2-minute safe drive down the Hong Kong highway for the Safe Driver trophy. In the game, you will need to increase your face level, which is basically a respect bar we increase for completing open world actions and events. So we increase our face level for the first time for the minor face trophy, going back for some cockfights and earning a big payday with a 100k payout for that infallible trophy, and completing 25% of all missions, cases, favours, events, jobs and races for the Officer trophy. More favours are completed to hit face level 5, and we then have to eat many foods from all the different food stalls in the city, trying out 10 different meals. I mean, come on, who can say no to a pork bun?
You look like you
I'll
could
take
use
some,
a pork
thanks.
bun. Thanks, Wei. Enjoy.
You will also see some trucks you can hijack in the open world and keep the goods for the Sun On Yee. Hijack these 5 times for another trophy. And at this point, we are making some great progress on the open world events. That is all the way up until this event. It is called Death by 1,000 cuts. This is where PSNP's 3 out of 10 difficulty enters question for me for the first time. The game sees a significant difficulty spike in this event. I couldn't get close to completing it. Death after death. With the current outfits and health shrines collected, this was impossible. And I was concerned, this could be where I walk away from this platinum trophy. But we will be back for another attempt later. Throughout our struggle in this one, we did at least earn a trophy. And this was for getting 15 in-game silver stats. And then came another difficulty spike for me on this platinum run, as we struggled with one particular race called Enduro. This again was a significant difficulty spike in the game with this racing event. Enduro is a city-wide race, the longest of all the bike races in the game, and it has by far the most annoying AI as they barge and lean into you constantly, all while you need to remain perfect for a long, winding race across the city, and any one mistake, the race is over. After many failed attempts and tantrums, I won this devil race and got to level 10 face for another trophy. Following that, we smashed through a whole host of events and trophies. Going through and beating 4 awesome martial arts clubs scattered over Hong Kong, I had a ton of fun doing these, and I actually wish they included more in the game. And continuing our cleanup, we get 50% of all missions, cases, favours, events, jobs and races done for another trophy. We had a few outstanding police case files to complete for Officer 10. Completing all 4 gets us another trophy. And as we are spending more time now as an officer, we end up earning all 10 cop upgrades. This is to get us another trophy, Super Cop. You will need to use 10 different firearms to defeat enemies as well, so make sure in the story playthrough you pick up any different guns you see laying on the ground. And guns mounted on vehicles also count towards the Gun Nut trophy. And now we must turn back to the Sun On Yee work we were carrying out earlier, shooting out a cop's tyres while fleeing in a police chase, and now we are making some real progress towards this platinum, having completed half of the open world events for another one. But now, we must head back to the story. Jackie was released from prison, stand-in Sun On Yee leader Tu-Chin went into hiding after his drug addiction sent him batshit crazy, and unfortunately, Uncle Po didn't survive his injuries. So we attend his funeral, but so does head officer Pendrew, and he makes another big arrest on Sun On Yee member Sunny Wo, who was one of his primary targets from the very start. Not only does he do that, he leaves the 18K triad a chance to wipe out the Sun On Yee, and possibly even Wei, his current serving undercover officer. But somehow, against all the odds, we shoot and claw our way through this graveyard onslaught, another one of the game's biggest and best blockbuster scenes. Following this, Big Smile Lee tries to put himself in charge of the triad, but with Lady Zhang and Wei refusing to accept it without an official vote, he goes wild. Smile Lee decides to attack his own Sun On Yee brothers who oppose his quench for power, and he tries to force himself to the top. Wei and his brothers fight back, leading to inner triad warfare. Officer Raymond again pulls Wei to the side, and he advises that Head Officer Pendrew may now rat out Wei following his continued commitment to certain Sun On Yee members, no matter the cost to his life. But Wei has other things to worry about. He hears of trouble from Jackie. This time, even for Wei to stop, it's too much. Childhood buddy and bestie Jackie Ma is dead. We are brought in to be tortured and slowly killed. But these fools never learn. This is fucking Wei Shen, and he breaks free, rains all hell down on everyone before him, eliminating the final backers of Big Smile Lee before chasing down the man himself. A few more trophies are earned as well for using 10 different melee weapons to defeat enemies, and we also get 15 gold in-game stat awards. We eventually shoot our way through to Big Smile Lee, but he inflicts a huge shotgun blow to an already beaten up Wei. Our pursuit suddenly turns to boat as we crash into an offshore oil station for a huge explosion. I thought Wei here could be dead along with Smile Lee, but both survived. One final showdown between Wei and Smile Lee. We eventually get Lee exactly where we want him, and we shove him straight down the pipe of the ice chipper. Smile Lee is dead. I expected to see the credits roll here, but this is not over. Weeks later, the Sun On Yee are in contact with Wei. This time, it's Lady Zhang, and she knows Wei is not just Wei Shen, he's in fact Officer Wei Shen. But she provides some evidence of a shocking murder on Uncle Po. He would have in fact survived his injuries, but Head Officer Pendrew committed murder on the legendary Triad leader. The man who put us on the job and tried to throw us to the dogs has been caught, and Wei makes sure of it. Pendrew is sentenced to life in Hong Kong. He won't last very long in there. And as for the Sun On Yee, Lady Zhang is now the leader, and is happy to leave Wei alone for now. This pops the final story trophy, and the story is there complete. So now this leaves the trophy cleanup for our platinum, and a looming fear of trying to complete the event, death by 1,000 cuts. But before I went for this, I cleaned up some other easier trophies. Bounty Hunter for collecting all of the cars requested by Roland, Karaoke Superstar for achieving 90% vocal quality on all songs at the bar. It turns out Wei is a legend with a gun or a microphone in his hand. We then go all Vin Diesel upon Hong Kong as we win all the street races for the Way of the Road trophy. This is where the platinum started to become tedious for me. We had to complete all the in-game favours for another trophy, and there are far too many repetitive quests you have to complete for this one. And then it's the dull collectible grind, finding all the lock boxes for several trophies to pop in a row, which was followed by a grind fest hacking all the security cameras in game. I then went to find all the remaining health shrines. This increases your overall health, and on second thought I should have done this a lot sooner to make the game a hell of a lot easier. That right there is a pro tip from an amateur trophy hunter. I achieved 30 silver stats while replaying some old missions with larger enemy groups in. Swiftly after that, I purchased all the clothing in game and some combat boosting suits which will come in handy later. This was followed by purchasing all the vehicles as well, and there are some banging cars for you to drive around in. But now comes the real challenge. Death by 1,000 cuts. This event had haunted me during my playthrough so far, but now with the additional health and improved suits, I knew I had just about enough to beat this challenge. And eventually I stumbled on a strategy of pulling enemies at 3 at a time to take them out. This allowed me enough time to attack fast and dodge any incoming attacks. I got myself all the way through to 28 out of 30. I thought I had finally done it until another failure. But I summoned the Rocky Balboa in me, and so when I get hit I can keep moving forwards. And on my very next attempt I went full gamer mode, fully locked in, more motivated than ever, and eventually it's complete. Finally, death by 1,000 cuts has been beaten. Wow, that was a struggle. We then got a double trophy pop for the final event and for 100% completion in the open world. I also expected to see the platinum pop here as well. Turns out my run didn't quite go to plan, as I would still need to grind for the pure gold trophy. This had me going back through old missions to find remaining 18k Triad members to beat on. Getting these final few awards was tedious, draining and exhausting, but finally we got it done for the pure gold trophy. And yet this still wasn't my final trophy. I needed one final grind for the platinum. I had reached level 10 face naturally while playing the game. I'd also reached level 10 cop naturally while playing the game, but not level 10 triad. This would simply take every last fibre of my being to complete. No platinum trophy should ever require you to replay this amount of missions, but unfortunately for sleeping dogs it does. But thankfully it would all be worth it in the end when we hear this beautiful sound. I can say that I am now the proud owner of the Sleeping Dogs Platinum Trophy. One of my best platinums so far, one of my favourites on my list. And so there you have it, my 50th Platinum Trophy. An amazing story, insanely good combat, and an intriguing city to explore. But in the end, I was tired, and I did feel the endgame Platinum grind was beyond tedious. Who knows what the future holds for Wei Shen and the Sun On Yee? Will we ever get a sequel? I hope and pray one day, somehow, we will. But thanks for watching, watching, guys. Let me know what you thought of today's video in the comments. Drop a like if you want more of these standalone Platinum Experience videos, and as always, feed me more Platinum suggestions in the comments.